Come on.
Welcome to Steve's Horse Show.
Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of Steve's Horse Show. Today, I am knocking off the rust just a little. It's been several months since I've done a new episode of Steve's Horse Show. And today, I brought my old friend, Katie Kirschke from Oklahoma State University, where we became acquaintances. And today, I brought her on the show to talk about 5 steps to your first horse show. Katie, before we get started, introduce yourself and talk about your career in the horse industry, if you will.
Okay, I'm Katie Kirschke. I grew up here in Yukon, Oklahoma, and went to Oklahoma State University, like Steve said. Thereafter, I worked a few different jobs before going to California and apprenticing under Gary and Kelly Roberts there. I just moved back last December and am training horses here in Yukon.
Today, we're going to talk about 5 steps to your first horse show. First step that we talked about beforehand was being prepared. So in all aspects, talk a little bit about how being prepared can help you for your first horse show.
So I think it's crucial in being prepared and being on time. If you're going to a horse show, looking up that show schedule, finding out start times, what days exactly, where the location is at, all things that you can do before you get there to help better prepare you. Again, being on time is huge, not rushing around. If it's your first time, you're going to have questions about different things. So for me, doing your homework beforehand, having your trailer packed, things you might need at the horse show is very, very crucial.
Let's say most people, let's just assume most people watching this are going to be like kind of your local type of horse show places. Just put out a time, like in general, what do you think would be a good time? Say the first class or whatever starts at a certain time. What do you say they need to be at a show before that time?
So I would definitely give yourself a few hours in advance. Something I'll hit on later on is getting your horses in the arena that you may be showing in, or what event you may be doing. So just being prepared as far as how long it's going to take you to get there. Is there going to be traffic? When are you leaving? How far away is the place? If it's on a weekend, sometimes that's not as important.
Can you get there too early?
No, I don't believe so.
Really? It's not going to wear your horse out or anything?
Well, you're going to give them time to rest. But again, if it's your first horse show and your horse maybe hasn't been there or you haven't been, there's going to be a part of acclimation with that horse in that facility that you're going to need to do. And so that for me is very important.
Cool. Step number 2 is talking about presentation. Presentation in general of yourself, your horse, everything in between. Talk about how presentation can help you at your first horse show.
So I fully believe perception is reality. I do. So, easy things you can do, having your horse clipped and bathed and ready to go.
Are you talking about this can help you at your first horse show with your score, or it can help you with?
I just think your overall picture. It shows that you care. If you have your horse clean, yourself clean, it shows that you care and that extra effort that you're going to put in to make sure that you're, again, presentable. And you don't always know what the facilities are going to be like. If you're there for a weekend, what the wash tracks are like, right, or how good your horse is to clip or whatnot. So for me, those are important things in your presentation, having your horse clean and yourself being ready. It doesn't take a lot of effort. I totally don't think you have to have the nicest, newest, fanciest things. You don't need to go out and buy expensive things, but it doesn't take a lot of effort to, make sure your boots are clean, make sure you've got a nice shirt on, something
and
that just, that's
and
preferable.
Starched. Are you a starch snob?
No, I do love starching, but
she does have some heavy starch.
You can.
The heaviest.
I have ironed a lot of my clothes at home, so, but most likely everyone's got a washing machine, so just be there,
You're
clean.
calling out the people that don't, though. So.
Well, I think it's very important to be clean. Like I said, perception is reality. And if you're going to a horse show, you may be going in an event and you're going to be judged. So that outcome, they don't know all the work you put into it beforehand. So that perception to that judge or even the other people around you, if you can just be clean.
At least have that part of your life organized.
Then I think that speaks volumes.
Number 3 is getting acclimated to your environment.
For the first time going to a horse show, whether it's yourself or your horse, I believe you need to get your horse in those respected arenas where you're going to be maybe showing or doing those events. Some horses, it doesn't bother a bit. You go in, they're fine.
Is most of this for the horse?
Yes. Yeah. Well, and yourself too. If you have to lay out a pattern, knowing where,
like you don't know how where the bathroom is?
No.
You're like, I can't find it.
But if you have, say if you're in a pattern class, laying out where your pattern's at, knowing how big your arena is, you may not know till you walk down to the other end that there's some spooky trash can that your horse is going to look at. And so, again, that goes back to being on time, if they're and looking at your schedule, if you look in your schedule and there's a break after this certain event, then okay, I want to be there in time to get there on that break so that I can go ride my horse in that arena, get him acclimated to that environment. You know how it goes when you take horses different places, different sights, different sounds. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, and so acclimating your horse to that environment is, I think, very crucial, again, to your success when you do go to show them. So
Number 4, my favorite, is asking questions. People are scared to ask questions.
So I think being a youth growing up in the industry and then being a professional for a couple years now, that's something that sometimes is really intimidating when you go to a horse show and you think, oh my gosh, all these people know what they're doing. I don't,
Your mom's a horse show guru, though, so
she is. So I've grown up in it, but I've been on the other side of things where people may come in a horse show office and be like, oh, I'm so sorry, or I don't know this, I'm sorry, and yeah. And so, you don't need to feel sorry for asking those questions. Almost everyone's been in your shoes.
Probably like a college campus, like your freshman year, you're like, I cannot ask someone where my class is.
Exactly.
And then when you're a senior, someone asks you, you're like, oh, okay.
So anyways, just not being afraid to ask those questions. And in turn, you make a lot of friends doing that, and people want to help you out, whether it's your friend or another professional, and it can be really intimidating sometimes to not know what you're doing in any event in life, but when you go to a horse show and add all those elements. So just don't be afraid to ask questions, doesn't matter who it is, because most people have been in your shoes before and are willing to help you out. So
Number 5 is classic have fun.
Yep.
I can tell that you're a softie by this one. You say have fun, not focus on winning or something like that.
No.
So, how does that help you at your first
Well,
show?
I think you've got to remember, again, being a professional now and while I'm younger, you've got to remember why we all started this, for the love of the horse and camaraderie with people. And so it's really easy to get wrapped up in the competition. I myself am a very, very, very competitive person. But you've got to remember why you started this and why you want to do this. And that is to build friendships.
What's the point of having a hobby if you're just
exactly.
miserable the
so
whole time?
You've got to have fun. It's about building a relationship with your horse, growing in yourself, competing against yourself, not just everyone else. And so I think that's really important. Sure, is it nice to win, but if you win and you don't have fun doing it or make friends or have a great relationship with your horse, for me, you're not getting ahead. So that's why that's a really important one for me.
Okay, so let's just throw it out there. Shameless plug. I'll tag you in this video. If you are interested in what Katie talks about today, you can reach out to her. And we'll go ahead and tag her in this video, and you can reach out to her. She is open for business now. I just realized I saw her posture is so good, and it made me, I couldn't even listen to that whole point because I was like, my posture's bad.
Okay. I gotta look again.
What?
I gotta look again.
Was Steve's horse show fun? Was it fun?
It was fun.
Yes. The most funnest Steve's horse show you've ever been on?
Yeah. For sure, no doubt.
Trick question. She had no choice but to say yes.